We're back with more baby racing at Saratoga. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am joined here by Michael Myers. Michael, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you, man?
I'm good. It is hot here in New York. I assume you said it's hot there as
Yeah,
well in Chicago. So
nice and humid.
yeah, it rained today. I live about what I would say like 5 miles south of the track, maybe 7 miles south of the track. I got 2 drops of rain here, and it poured there, but it really needs the rain because it's disgusting here.
Yeah.
So, but we're back. We're gonna stick with the theme of doing these 2-year-old races. So to start Saturday's card, there is a two-turn baby race here, which is led by a Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz horse. That's going to be very over bet. We'll see how good he ends up being. But I'll let you start, Michael. We'll go with the one entry to start. Please Baby in the 1A. I like Boston.
Um, Please, baby. I actually was like looking at on his debut, and then he did absolutely nothing at all. So I'm not really interested in him. Um, I like Boston is actually the horse that I'm more interested in. One of my favorite angles is 2 dirt sprints to a turf route. Um, and he's shown enough early speed, like in those sprints, that unless somebody else comes firing out, like one of the first time starters that we don't really know about, like I think this horse is going to have the lead. And good old Naira jockeys sometimes just love letting each other walk up front. Like if this horse gets the lead, is going 24-48, and then gets the stretches, and then it turns into a sprint. Like there's no reason with 2 races under his belt that he couldn't, like at a big price, like upset this field. So I love that angle. Not in love that he's a Florida bred, but at 15-1, and I'm assuming you're probably going to drift up from that.
Oh yeah,
he's worth looking at. Even if you're playing vertically and you want to look underneath for somebody, if he has a lead, he could hold on for second or third if you don't like him up top.
yeah. I kind of agree. I think this one entry is a little interesting here. Even Please Baby, I don't think is as bad as the debut. It wasn't great, but didn't break well, and then Forte didn't run too bad there in the Stanford last weekend.
Right.
So I don't think it was a terrible effort. I like the family's done all right on the turf. It's not the worst. Definitely prefer going shorter, but the dam ran on turf. It could be a big price. I like Jose Gomez. I think he's going to get a couple more at prices here this meet. So
well, and that's the other good thing. If you like that horse, one, blinkers are going on, but also like you're getting a bug. So running that distance for a 2-year-old with a bug is going to matter to a degree.
Right. And it's I forget if Rudy won a race today, but he is not. He's 0 for 13 according to my PPs. I don't know if he won a race today or not. I forget if he was a winning trader. And between McCarthy and Gomez, they only got 1 win. So you're definitely gonna get probably 20 plus on this entry if you like.
Right.
The number 2 is really good. Michael Maker, always dangerous on the turf. Gets Saez. Saez had a good day today. It's surprising stat that Michael Maker is 0 for 25 debuting horses at a mile or longer on the turf. That's surprising to me. I'm not a huge fan of this one. He's been working really well. and the family's all right on the turf. I'm not sure if I'm just not sure this horse is going to be good enough here. I think there's some others that are more interesting and won't be overbet because of the jocker trainer combo.
Yeah, I think he is going to get overbet. Let's see, 5-1 morning line.
I think five or
Yeah,
six.
like
Yeah.
like that's tough to swallow, especially given the stat on Maker 0 for 25 over a mile. Also, I know those two have been hot together so far, but he's on the rail. I don't like 2-year-olds on the rail in routes. If they're not mature enough, they're not going to handle everybody coming over. And assuming nobody scratches, that's a lot of horses he's going to see. I'm also not a big fan of, just in general, hard spun at all as a sire. So it's a tough price to swallow on a horse that I'm kind of like about.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Would it shock me? No, but at the same
Right.
time, I feel like you're gonna get four. This one probably gets that down to like 3 or 4-1 in reality because of the combo. Saya's had a good day today. He's up there in the. I think he's top 3 or 4 in the jockey standings currently.
Yeah,
So,
I mean those two are 31% in the last 60 days. So like, and I think it's got to be higher than that for the meet. That's hard to bet against, but you got to take a stance somewhere if you're, especially if you're vertically. Like if you think Chad Brown's horse is good, that we'll get to, and Joseph O'Brien's, like you got to take a stance somewhere where you're just gonna be, or I guess just play it straight for $5 or something.
Right, I agree with that. The number 3 is Kuth for Al Stall. Chili Dilly rides. I think he had 3 winners today. He had 2 or 3 winners today, which was crazy to me. But he's proven me wrong so far. I didn't think he was gonna have a great meet, and today he pretty much won more races than I thought he'd win all meet. So, but Claiborne Farms homebred. I like this one a bit. Stall's another one. He's not debuting horses over a mile. Definitely not his strong suit. But I like the pedigree here on this one. He only has the one turf work, but been working them consistently. Worked him 3 straight times at Churchill, going 5. The horses coming from Churchill have been running very well this meet. I think this is a horse I'm gonna definitely use underneath at a price.
Yeah, I agree with you. Claiborne bred and kept him. Warfronts debuting in a mile, like should have absolutely no problem with that. I'm not sure. I don't know who was left for Albert Stall to go to.
Yeah,
but I kind of agree with you. Dylan's riding better than I think what most of us expected. So I think for a price and the fact that he's out of Warfront, like, oh, all right, like sign me up, especially given, he's going to be double digits also. I wouldn't take him to win, but there's no reason that he couldn't get at least third, if not second.
And the Dam ran well on the turf. She had a couple wins. She was 5 for 5 starts. She had 1 win in 3 seconds at this distance. She actually raced back in like 2015 and 2016. And she had strong buyers. So far, her 2 other foals haven't really run great on the turf, but neither of them were sired by Warfront. One was sired by Flatter, the other Run Happy. So I think there's more turf pedigree here than I think leads on. So at a price, I'm using this one underneath.
Yeah, I agree. And also, too, Dan's out of blame. So, like, distance shouldn't matter to this horse at all. So I wouldn't worry about, like, oh, he's debuting at a mile plus. Like, pedigree says should be able to handle that with no problem if he's ready to go.
Yeah. The 4 is Wide Right for Bill Mott with Junior Alvarado. Junior's limited mounts so far this meet, but I think he's got 2 wins and like 5 or 6 mounts so far. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, and old Billy Boy's pretty good at debuting on the turf, going long. So I don't know. I don't love like the works like that. There's a work 2 back, 5 furlongs and 104, and I don't know if they were really asking him or just getting him on the turf just to run on it. But I'm not in love. Like if that said 102, I'd be okay. But like 104 sounds like he was jogging around the jogging around. So, but I mean, Junior is kind of between I guess probably Jose, but like Jose and Junior are his 2 go-tos. So it's not like he. They were like, I don't want to have anything to do with this horse. I know you got to probably take a stance somewhere, but I don't like him up top. If he won, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think this is another underused horse, underneath use.
Yeah, I don't know. The one for these 2-year-old races, I'm big in the pedigree, and the dam was and the sibling was a claiming winner on the turf. So not like not against like better class horses. And this one actually worked with American Rocket, and American Rocket just absolutely blew her away in that work on July 8th on the turf. So American Rocket won easily today on the dirt.
Right.
But still, like, it was the workmate and didn't really stand a chance. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of with you. If you're going to, like, at a price, this one you could use underneath, like, the round out, like, tries or something. But,
yeah, I
think I think I'm going to take a stand and go elsewhere, personally. The number 5 is Coach Petro for Brad Cox and gets Tyler Gaffleone riding, who has been ice cold this meet. He is not having a good meet so far. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, like you look at the purchase price, then you look at Cairo Prince, like, okay, should be able to handle mile. It's Brad Cox. I'll just leave that as is. And then you look, and you're like, oh, Tyler's 1 for 25, and it's just like, that's. If like Irad was on this horse, I'd be like, oh, he's definitely a win contender, but like I don't know if Tyler's getting scraps from the other big names, or if he's like in his own head and just not riding well, or what the case may be. But I'm not touching him at 9-2. I want to have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and like you said, it's Cox, so it's like at one point, what point do you? Yeah, Cox has sent 11 runners out so far. 7 of them have hit the board. 4 of those 7 have won. So he's sending out runners. It's just
right.
Is
this going to get a good ride?
Right, exactly. And purchase price is, I think, Cairo Prince only a $15,000 stud fee. They paid $200,000 for him. LaPenta owns this one. LaPenta is always pretty good with buying horses. Yeah, this is one of those ones, I think, like, if you're gonna try to be like find a wise guy horse in here, that's gonna be a shorter price. I think you'll probably get 5 or 6 to 1 on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I would toss him over the Maker horse. Like I would, because you're like, okay, do I want Maker 0 for 25 and bet that at some point, like, that he's going to buck that trend, or do I want Tyler who's 1 for 25? Like, I'd rather take, when I know the person who's actually in control during the race is Saez, and Saez is, at this point in their careers, is way better than Tyler. Like, I'll take Saez and hope that Maker doesn't go 0 for 26 over Tyler, who's who I suspect is about to go 1 for 26 here.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and this is like if you're gonna use, I feel like at this point Tyler's one of those bigger name jockeys that until he starts winning again, it's kind of hard to use him on top.
Right.
I can see this horse running well though, running underneath if you're gonna key him because Cox is great with first time starters. He's great debuting over a mile. His horses just show up and run. But yeah, at some point, like I couldn't use this horse to start my pick five personally.
No, if you're doing that, you better be singling somewhere else on the road. Because if you're using him, that means you're probably four potentially five deep, and
Yep.
if one of these short prices wins, then you're gonna be sitting on probably a big ticket that's not gonna really pay out much.
Yep. The number 6 is 2 minutes apart. George Weaver with another cold jockey, Eric Cancel, riding. I'm staying far away from this one. I want nothing to do with this one.
No, I mean that purchase price is. I mean, you and I could have gone and bought him, and like if Manny was on this horse, I might look twice because him and Weaver seem to be doing pretty well. And Manny seems to be getting Weaver's live mounts, but I don't want to touch this horse.
Yep.
Eric, at least the PPs that I got, he's 0 for 12 so far. Like
yep. He's 0 for 12 with a third. Yeah, there's just nothing. I just can't really find much of a positive besides George Weaver because Weaver's had a couple nice runners this meet so far, but
right.
I can't find a positive about this horse that would make me be like, yeah, I need to use him.
No, even vertically, I wouldn't even have him on a ticket.
The number 7 is Activist Investing. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Activist Investing for Chad Brown. Looks like it was a private purchase by Klarovich. Great Britain bred. This one looks like he's going to be very tough to beat here for Chad.
I agree with you, and I wanted to look this up beforehand. I think long term this horse is going to be good, but like this is to me like a very random. I know the Saratoga meet is short, but this is kind of a random Saturday. This was Travers Day. I'd be like single this horse and bet your house on him, but like I think the day they actually debut, and I know sometimes it has to come down with timing, and Chad's like, he's ready, why wait, till a dandy or whatever the case may be. But I just like, if he gets like second, like just like by a neck, like I would not be surprised at all on this. Again, I think he's going to be a great horse long term. But anybody at this short of a price debuting, going, especially in a route, like I'm going to try and beat. I would use him defensively. I think you're crazy if you don't at least use him defensively, but he could probably be beat this time.
Yeah, if you're gonna beat these horses, it's usually first asking.
Right.
My worry is I mean, so far we got 2 more horses after this, and nobody's really blown us away yet. So it might not be the toughest 2-year-old group.
No, true.
But yeah, I mean, if you're only, like if you're gonna take a stand and like you're gonna use like the Cox horse, the Maker horse, and like the Stall horse, I don't think there's value in using a horse like this. He's probably going to be 7-5 by post time, is my guess. I think he gets bet down off the 9-5 line.
Yeah, and if he was even money, I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
But if you're only going to use one or 2 horses here, like I think he's definitely a good. I think you have to use him. I'm personally using him, and I'm probably only going to use one more with him on my pick 5. So he looks good. His pedigree's great. I guess the one negative is that it's the dam's first foal.
Right.
but
Yeah. You don't know
is
what you're
it
getting.
right? You don't really know, but usually the usually the dams over there are pretty good, especially for turf. And Kingman obviously is they just win everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, this one is definitely one to keep your eye on, especially if he wins here for later on down the line for some 2-year-old turf stakes.
Yeah. The other thing too is like we have no idea how this horse. Well, it's Chad, so he's probably going to be closing. So, like I said, Saez is aggressive. Like make a horse being on the lead is not a crazy thing to contemplate. I like Boston that is stretching out off those 2 dirt sprints. Like is probably going to be on the lead. So like that's the other thing. And there's 9 horses, or excuse me, 10. So like, I mean, there's going to be one person to work through traffic. It's going to be Irad, but like this horse, just assuming the Chad Brown horse is going to be a closer. If he gets too far back or whatever the case may be, and is having to, ends up swinging 6 wide for a 2-year-old, that's a lot of ground to make up first time. So
agreed. And I ran and Chad over the last 5 years with first time starters in turf routes are 9 for 23, so 39% with a $2.09 ROI.
Right.
So it's like when he throws Irad on these ones, they're usually pretty good. So definitely a tough toss. If you're not going to use them, I think we're both going to use them.
Yeah.
The number 8 is Coach's horse, Mo Treasure, the most experienced runner here. Already has 4 career starts, 2/3 all on dirt. Switching the turf today. What do you think?
I don't like that that Saez is hopping. I know Saez is like Maker's kind of first mount these days. But like Saez hopping off this horse, Javier once upon a time, was like, oh, okay, like, they'd be equal, but not at this point anymore. So I'm not a fan of losing Saez for this horse. I'm not really sure if this breeding like screams turf to me.
It does not to me. Motown actually has yet to sire a turf winner.
Right.
I believe he's only had one other starter on the turf. Yeah, he's only had one other starter on the turf.
And Dam has 7 winners from 9 starters, and none of those were on the turf either. So like,
yeah,
this is hard to get behind. And also, I know Coach kind of seemed to reinvigorate his career of Secret Oath over this past 7 to 8 months, but like he's also still like 200 years old or however old he is at this point. So like, like his death. I mean, like Secret Oath, she's a beast, but like, I think he caught a little bit of a diamond in the rough. I just don't.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with you.
Coaching beating Chad Brown and Joseph O'Brien on the turf at this point in his career.
Yeah, this kind of seems to me like they know the horse it probably isn't good enough on dirt to win at maiden special weight, and the owners don't want to lose the horse, so they're just taking a shot. They're taking a shot running at Saratoga in a race, and then next time out maybe at like Belmont or Churchill or Keeneland or something, they'll throw the horse in a maiden claimer.
Yeah,
that's what it seems.
And the other thing too, I mean, like you can get third, get fourth, get third, and these 120K maiden special weights, and like still cash checks. You could never break your maiden and still cash checks for your owner. So like this horse, if we see this horse next, like on a Derby undercard next year, and still hasn't broken his maiden, like I would not be surprised. But just constantly getting second and third.
A horse has already earned I don't see a purchase price on here, so assuming again this is probably a private purchase. But only $7,500 stud fee for Motown, and the horses earned 31,000. So if they only paid like 10 or 12,000 for this horse, which is pretty reasonable, horses probably made them a little bit of money. So yeah, that's also a good point. That just running second, third, and fourth, just cashing checks in these races.
0 for 18, but was a profit center.
Yeah. The number 9 is Reckoning Force for Joseph O'Brien, who this will be, by the time this race happens, this will be his second starter on the meet, I believe, because he's got one on Friday's card too in a 2-year-old race. I like Joseph O'Brien. He won the Saratoga Derby last year with a very good horse. So I think it's cool that he's got a little string up here this summer. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think it's awesome that he's, I don't know if it's his B team or what that he threw over here, but it's nice for the competition because, like, if his horse wasn't in here, Irad and Chad Brown are probably 3 to 5.
Yep.
So, like, he's Irish. I mean, ran well in his debut in Ireland. I don't know, for at least to me, and maybe the stats prove differently. I feel like Air Force Blue didn't seem to pass along all of Warfront's like distance along. But like, I mean, this is 8.5. Like, that shouldn't be, I mean, we're not asking this horse to go, 9, 10, 11 furlongs, so it should be fine. Like, I think this horse is pretty live, and if Chad drifts down, I'm hoping maybe he drifts up a little bit, especially too if maybe like Cox takes some money or Maker takes some money. I think you're going to get the 3 to 1, maybe even 7 to 2, 4 to 1 if you're lucky. But the other thing too is if you're just playing percentages, like the European horses that have come over so far, like have not won. Like, at some point, these Euros are going to start winning some races. So if you want to, just kind of play the odds on that also.
Yeah, I agree, and there are a couple positives and some negatives about that. So technically he's a Kentucky bred, so
Right.
Like, he's not really he's a Euro, but he's not really like a
Right,
true
yeah.
Euro. He doesn't have that amazing turf pedigree.
True.
A positive though, he carried a 2-year-old carried 128 pounds last time out. He carries 119 today. So this is the lightest this horse will probably ever carry in his life.
Right.
Because even next time out, I bet he's probably up to 120 or 121 or whatever if he runs here. So he gets a big weight break, which, I mean, those pounds do make a bit of a difference.
Yes.
He ran against 14 horses last time out, and he finished third. So against 9 others here, assuming both parts of the entry stay in, and then there's no scratches. Probably, he's already used to running against a big field, which is nice.
Yes.
Nice. Joseph O'Brien, again, like he's a world class trainer. The dam's siblings are 1 for 1 in turf routes, which is good, except for it was a race at Louisiana Downs, but we can look past that. Air Force Blue and going back to Hard Spun kind of have similar numbers, in my opinion, where it's like they're not like fantastic, but they're not bad. They're like in that 12 to 14% range for like every stat.
Right.
Turf routes for Air Force Blue is like about 10, a little over 10%. So it's not like,
It's not
he's
horrible.
okay. Yeah,
Right.
It's not horrible. I don't think this is one of Joseph O'Brien's best horses he sent over here. I definitely prefer the one on Friday's card. But yeah, I think this is a logical second choice here. And if you're not going to single the Chad, I think this is a horse, like you said, you're going to get every bit of that 3-1 price and should offer a ton of that. Like, because that Chad horse is probably going to be, I would say, 50% singled in this early sequence.
Yeah. And even if somebody's not, I mean, you obviously want to eliminate money, but even if he's not singled, like there aren't going to be many tickets without that horse on the ticket. So,
Right.
like, even if you beat him with the second choice, like there's probably better value in beating him at with the 3-1, 7-2, whatever he goes off, than betting him to win.
Yeah, he's like this horse probably, I'm gonna guess, in doubles and like doubles pick threes and like the pick 5 is probably gonna be closer to 4 or 5-1 than he is that 3-1, just because of how pounded this 7's going to be. But yeah, I'm 7-9 here. I don't really see. I hate to go chalky here with taking the Chad, but I think this Chad's gonna just be much the best on the turf here.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked at the rest of the sequence, but like if you're capping it and you think it looks chalky, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna press my opinion and go like, too deep, maybe in every leg, and then maybe like single, another leg. If you're gonna press, like use Joseph O'Brien's horse over Chad Brown's, and then if you got like 1 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 1 or something along those lines, and pressing that, you're going to create a lot of value for yourself too.
Yeah, and
then you can still have a spread ticket and use both of them, but like
in this early
separate yourself.
This early sequence ends with the Coaching Club American Oaks, so you get you get the Kentucky Oaks rematch of Secret Oath and Ness, who are going to be the main two there. So
right. So if you like whoever you like, I like Nest. So like whatever your opinion is, like if you're making a press ticket, you can't spread in that. You got to pick a horse in the Country Club Oaks. Like you gotta pick one. So if you're making a press ticket and you want to separate yourself from everybody else, and you're not really, singling and going 2 by 2 by 2 and singling at the end, that's not going to cost you anything, even if you press it for $5. So if you lose, you're like, oh, that's 4. That's 8. So that's only like $40 if you did a $5 press ticket. Like you're not making yourself go broke, but like if you beat Chad Brown here on a press ticket and you get through, like you're going to create a lot of value.
Agreed. I think that's definitely you definitely create value there if you can do that. So, and also on Saturday is the Haskell.
The return of Bobby. The return of Bob.
Yep, the return of Bob Baffert. He's got
Revenge Tour.
Yep, the Baffert Revenge Tour that can't come to New York, but they can't come to New York. He can't run a Keeneland either, can he? I don't think. I don't think he can run a Kentucky.
Like he's banned from CDI.
Yeah, and he's banned from NYRA.
Did Kentucky ever make a ruling on that?
I have no idea. At this point, I feel like they're gonna have not personally. I think NYRA is gonna have a very hard time if Tabo wins, and then they're like, we want to run him in the Haskell or run him in the Travers.
Right.
I think they're gonna have a very, very hard time telling Baffert that he can't do that. I would
think. I mean, he's currently suspended, right?
Yep.
But would you not just like transfer him? Like if you're the owners and like he just demolishes the field, and you're like, oh, like we got the second coming of Arrogate. Like Would
Let's
you?
hope
Why would you
not.
not just transfer to like McCarthy? Not Yakteen because it's not that
No.
seems to not be working. But transferring to McCarthy seems to be working. I don't know if he paid
You
better attention.
transfer him to Pletcher.
Right?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Well, the thing
transfer him
is,
to
I don't. I mean, I get
Pletcher doesn't have he doesn't really have a Colt and he main. Well, I guess he has Charge It.
charge
He's got
it.
Charge.
Well, and the other thing too is like I wonder if like Pletcher would be like just based on principle, like, no, I'm not taking this horse for one race. And like I get it's Travers and it's a lot of money, but like
I mean, because the Baffert never got life. He never got Life is Good back.
Right.
So Life is Good still with.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, I guess
think,
it all depends on. Yeah.
I think Tybe is staying with Bob, but if you were to transfer for one race to go race in Travers, I think they would transfer him to McCarthy. Because I think Pletcher would like, oh, is he mine? They're like, no, we're going to transfer him right back. And he's going to be running in Del Mar in September or October. And then I think Pletcher would say no.
Hopefully Jack Christopher can just win, and then we don't have to worry about that.
I would love for that to happen, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree with. The only thing I like about Jack, like that Jack Christopher is like that I think he really can win, is that Chad, I feel like, doesn't send a lot of horses to the Haskell.
Right.
So when he does, you know, it's kind of like my same logic where I like Zandon earlier this year in the Bluegrass. It's not really a race that Chad ships out for. Chad does not ship dirt horses for the most part out of New York.
True.
So when Chad ships dirt horses out of New York, it's usually because they're very good.
Yeah.
And he's got between that and then Chad is refusing to Chad doesn't send Zandon and doesn't send the Preakness winner early voting. Instead, he's got both of them targeting the Jim Dandy.
Right.
So he's got two horses running for a lesser purse. One of them won one of the legs of the Triple Crown, and you're only running this horse there. It's like I feel like there's a lot of like I got a feeling that like Chad basically told the other what Klarovich owns. I think Klarovich owns early voting. I don't know if they own. Who owns? Do you know who owns Jack Christopher?
Let me look it up real quick. Like I'm gonna say the name, and you're gonna be like, oh,
yeah, it's somebody very obvious. Oh, it's Peter Brandt.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, you know, like you gotta have a feeling that like he told him, you know, like he told Klarovich, like, look, like your horse is not gonna run for the $1 million Haskell. He's gonna run in the $600,000 Jim Dandy.
Right.
So,
my only thing, I don't think any. Well, actually, Bob Baffert does have fans. Oddly enough, I don't understand, but and you and I privately talked about this. I think we're going to get like. I think this is going to be like Jackie's Warrior in the Juvenile. Like, I'm not sold on Jack Christopher being a 2-turn horse. And if you had said before that Juvenile, that Hot Rod Charlie, and who got third, and keep me in mind, we're going to beat Jackie's Warrior, you'd be like, oh, those two horses are donkeys. They're not going to beat Jackie's Warrior. This is a 2-horse race between Essential Quality and Jackie's Warrior. And then Hot Rod Charlie, I mean, we know, obviously, Hot Rod Charlie, well, was a good 3-year-old. I'm not sure if he's still a good horse anymore. But like I just I'm worried that he's not a 2-turn horse, and that Mike Smith's going to sit back and then just hit the corner and just going to be like, see you later. And then I think somebody else is going to pass him too.
I'm curious if he even. I'm honestly curious how they ride Jack Christopher, because I don't. Like
there's no speed in this race.
Right there. Well, I think Smith could send Taiba, and I don't think there'd be any issue with sending Taiba.
That's true. I think you can.
Yeah,
I don't know if he. I don't know.
Horses coming back off running on that hot pace in the Derby are pretty much all running well. I mean, and we haven't talked about him yet, but Cyberknife's in this race, and he was on that. He was on that pace. White Abario was on that pace, even though I honestly am very. I get why they sent White Abario because of the paycheck. I don't agree with the placement. I think they are very poorly mismanaging this horse, but that's
He's
just
in New
me.
Jersey. Anything can happen for Safi when he's in Florida and in New Jersey.
That's true. That's true. He gets his horses do a little bit more running, but I feel like it's gonna be it's either I who's on Jack Christopher? Is it Rosario
Uh,
or is it Jose? I forget. I honestly haven't looked at Haskell that much at Monmouth. I'm not a huge
no, I don't even think I'm not. I'm just gonna watch the Haskell. I might bet a straight exacta, but I'm not playing a pick 5 there.
Because either I feel like you either play catch me you can with Jack Christopher,
right?
And you hope that he just does what he's done in his last 2 races where he just nobody can get near him, or Mike Smith just says, you know what, I'm gonna press you, and I know my horse. Yeah, right. And I know my horse can get a mile and an eighth, and we're not sure if yours can. Right. And I can very easily see Mike Smith doing that, but I feel like you're going to get the patented 4-wide Mike Smith trip at Monmouth that he always seems to do with his horses.
I would agree with that, but he's in the 2-hole, so I'm not sure how he's going to get.
Yeah, and from the 2-hole, that's my other thing. From the 2-hole, does he go? He's probably got to go, and he tries to push Jackie's Warrior or
right, because Mario's got some early-ish speed, so he can't he's gonna have to go to some degree, or he's gonna get buried back. Right. And I think he could still win from back there, but why would you do that to the horse if you don't have to? Mm-hmm. It's not like he's riding Tacitus. You could push him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think that's what he'll do is he'll try to go for the lead and he'll try to push Jack Christopher out on that first turn to make him go a little bit more wide, and then it just comes down to who's actually the better horse. Right. I personally don't think. I mean, if one of those two don't win, I would be surprised. I really don't like Cyberknife. I think he's like a grade 3, maybe low
he's
grade
a G3. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and same with White Abario. I feel the same way about both of them. They're both very nice horses. I get you have to take a shot eventually at another grade 1, and you weren't. Basically, I feel like the horses taking a shot in here are all the horses that don't want to run against Epicenter again.
True.
They said, all right, we're going to Asmussen was like, we're going to the Jim Dandy and then the Travers with Epicenter. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to go to the Haskell and then we'll probably go to the PA Derby with all of these other ones. You're not, he might be the best 3-year-old still that just has a case of the seconds.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, it should be a fun weekend though. There's some good racing. There is some good racing. I don't know what's out at Del Mar, but I'm sure Del Mar's got something on Saturday.
Petey's back.
Okay.
Petey. Good old Peter.
Nice. Yeah. Magic told us that earlier, right? That he's back. It's just terrible. Yeah. So, God, I just hope back.
I hope everybody enjoys this game while it's around, because at some point Peter's going to shut us all down. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just gonna be terrible. Or everyone's just gonna rig races like that Asanova race.
I was just gonna say that. I saw that.
Man. That Asanova race was not. He could have won by 30, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait."
If you haven't seen this, go. Ray Pollock shared it, and people, it's brutal. It is brutal.
Yeah, if you follow anyone on racing Twitter, somebody's retweeted it or liked it at this point. It is, this one horse goes 25 and then 49 for the half, and has got a 12-length lead. And the jockey, he starts looking around and pulls the horse up, lets everyone pass him, and then re-rallies only to get second.
Yeah,
it was it's a very bad look from Asanova Downs.
Yeah, brutal.
What are you gonna do? But
he'll be fined $1,000 and he'll be riding next week.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking in there with us, and good luck this Saturday for playing the races.